Everything started with the sheep. I was studying abroad in Israel, and I was wondering what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I reached out to this contact of mine who worked in the Negev desert raising sheep, and this man, without any hesitation, just entrusted me, a total stranger, with his flock of like 400 sheep. And as I'm sitting there, I'm looking out across the Jordan River. I see the beautiful cliffs, I see the sky, I see the clouds, and I see these sheep. Sheep are followers. One sheep will be sitting, munching on a piece of grass, and suddenly the sheep next to it will move. And before you know it, you have 400 sheep moving in one direction. And that's how a clueless, random 19-year-old boy could get 400 sheep to follow him in one direction. I realized that almost every decision I had made up in my life until that point was exactly like sheep number one. And as I'm sitting there on this mountain, I just am struck with the full weight of realizing the complete lack of intention in everything in my life. My motivation changed like drastically. I went from somebody who was just trying to live life as closely as I could to starting to be accountable for my own decisions and trying to live a life that I can be happy with answering for the things that I do. And that's been the motivation since that moment of trying to answer for my own actions. 3 weeks later, I'm back in the US. I was totally untethered. I didn't know what was going on, where I would end up, but I knew that I liked cars. Like I went around, asking different car shop owners if I could work in their shop and learn about cars and just like take a step forward on that adventure.
When Shalom walked in to my shop, he was just looking at this, looking at that. He's curious. He wants to find the answers on how and why or whatever. So then when he asked me for a job or internship, I said, what do I have to lose?
But as time went on, I saw how technically and physically difficult it was, the strain it puts on your body. It wasn't exactly the route I wanted to go. And my boss, Mark, had taught me that the car is kind of like a human body. And I figured, I'm like, well, if I could work on things and understand things and talk to people while working in a car shop, maybe I could go into the medical field in some way. He recommended that maybe I try going into nursing.
Honestly, I wanted to be a nurse, but I couldn't because the thing is I get goosebumps when I see like needles. So I think Shalom is living the dream that I couldn't really live. So I kind of like pushed him.
I decided to go for it. So yeah, I went to this EMT school and I got my first job working on an ambulance. I started volunteering for this agency over here, and being an EMT has been one of the most formative experiences of my life. Seeing people's emergencies constantly on a daily basis helps you actually realize like how little in control you are. But it definitely helped me understand better what I do have control of in my life. This old woman who lived in her house, she was bedbound. Her husband, who was also elderly, was the one that was taking care of her. The woman had called because she hadn't seen her husband. This man had gone to the garage. He climbed up on a ladder and he hung himself from the rafters. Like he really must have felt that like life was just so unbearable that he couldn't handle it anymore. I have to say, like, I don't think there's anything that could have prepared me to see that. I don't think there's anything afterwards that could prepare me to understand it better. I don't think there's any way to be empathetic without being able to feel pain. Like life is not like a solely joyous experience as much as, we'd like it to be. Like experiences like the one I just described help me be able to understand them a little bit better.
A day that's gray and lonely, I lift up my chin and grin.
As an EMT, you work a lot with the nurses in the emergency department. We also have in the state of New Jersey, we have nurses that work on the ambulance with us. And through like constant exposure to nurses,
doing incredible things in really stressful situations, I saw that that's what I wanted to do. A million small moments of just seeing nurses doing wonderful things that made me want to do it more. And yeah, just like being in a system which there's like a deep sense of respect and appreciation for nurses. I graduated nursing school and I actually got a job in an emergency department, and I now work as like a night shift nurse. I never saw myself working in this specific emergency department, in this specific hospital, in this specific area, and I can't imagine it any other way now, and I'm so glad that I'm here. Before I knew anything about nursing, I just saw all these professionals just going to a big building full of sick people wearing pajamas, you know? But it's so much more. It's like being privileged to every day come into work and like I'm there as a stranger, but as a friend, and the most interesting dynamic like I've ever experienced in my life. And it's so rewarding and fulfilling, and like I can't wait to go back to work. And sometimes when I leave work, I'm a little bit sad that I'm leaving because it's such a bucket-filling experience. There is something so incredible and amazing about being able to walk into life every day and let like the inner voice draw you towards the next step. Like you could spend your whole life doing that and it'd be a pretty awesome one. That's what I've learned in 5 years. That's what I've learned in 24 years. Like I want anybody who's hearing this to know that too, and just like continue enjoying the ride.
Hey Shalom, the scrubs still look like pajama to you?
They are pajamas. What do you mean?